Anderson are in goal. The veteran DeAndre Yedlin in at right back. Weah preferred to Areola. Pulisic not yet fit enough to start. We may well get a cameo from the Chelsea man in the second half. As for Mexico, they've lost their top three central defenders. Araujo suspended, Montes and now Hector Moreno carrying injuries. So it's an untried partnership of the elderly Dominguez and the emerging Vasquez. The midfield with both Alvarez and Romo has an air of containment about it. And then up top it's Raul Jimenez, flanked by Corona and Lozano. That is a truly dangerous trio. Well, for these teams, the hoped-for destination is Qatar a year from now. Mexico. CONCACAF's collision of heavyweights, the ultimate rivalry in this region. A night when senses are sharpened, tensions are heightened. And if history is any guide, this could be a turbulent evening. The US won the 2 dress rehearsals earlier in the year, but this is the one that gets the blood properly pumping in a way that resonates more robustly. This is the gala performance. Taylor Twellman alongside me has been a part of this rivalry in the past, has commentated on it on many occasions. Where is this one going to be won and lost, Taylor?
It's really interesting when you look at this matchup and considering the history of CONCACAF qualifying. 9 of the last 10 teams to have 11 points out of their first 6 games have qualified for the World Cup. And yet this is a completely different scenario. Now it's an octagonal. And so after tonight, they will be halfway through World Cup qualifying. Will the United States be able to sleep at night, or will they be sleepless over the next 2 months, worried about the World Cup in 2022?
It doesn't need me to underline that the noise here is thunderous. And here's Anthony Robinson for the US. Hands off by the veteran Dominguez. And now it's Luis Romo finding Chucky Lozano. Sweeping ball for Corona. Romo's made his way forward. Jimenez available too. Miles Robinson victorious in the first duel. Edson Alvarez. Rivalry that dates back 87 years. Edition number 73 this evening. And whilst Mexico held sway for most of the 20th century since the turn of the millennium, the US has the upper hand. Greg Berhalter played in the most important ever US-Mexico game back at the 2002 World Cup, the round of 16.
Going to be extremely important for Greg Berhalter in the United States that when Mexico is in rhythm and when they're in possession, that the understanding between Zimmerman, Miles Robinson, and Tyler Adams is on point, because Jimenez, ever since the head injury, his time with Wolves, he drops into the midfield and tries to pull one of the center backs out of position to allow the 2 wingers to exploit that space. Tyler Adams is going to have his head on a swivel, making sure he's mindful of Jimenez when he drops into the hole.
Anthony Robinson. Yunus Musa. This is Tyler Adams, skipper for the 5th time this evening. Alvarez hassled into a moment of discomfort, rare for him. Attentions of Aronson. Musa. Began the week playing against Hector Herrera and is finishing it in the same vein, 4,000 miles away. Met in La Liga last weekend. Here's Weah. Pepe! First semblance of a chance.
Pre-game show, I told you I was most intrigued about Timothy Weah coming into this lineup because there's a real diversity to his game, but there's also something you can't teach. He can operate at a high level, at a top pace, but when you've got a center forward like Ricardo Pepi, who scores all of his goals in and around that 14 yards in front of goal, you've got to have high-quality balls in and around that 18-yard box. Good play early on from Timothy Weah.
Gallardo protecting the ball from Weah.
And Gallardo's going to be an X factor to this one, right, John? Because he's very elusive going forward. And the way Tata Martino sets up his teams in possession, he allows his fullbacks to push further up the field. And so that may force Timothy Weah to have to defend a little bit deeper. And that's why I think Tata Martino wants his fullbacks to do that, but allow Alvarez to drop into the center backs the way he's done for Ajax and Champions League at a high level. I think Gallardo and Rodriguez on this right side could be the real X factor for Mexico tonight.
It's a foul by Musa. Referee is Ivan Barton of El Salvador. Dominguez forced backwards. Hector Herrera. There's a bit of serious defending for the US to undertake. It's a corner. Saw Tata Martino a moment ago, whilst Greg Berhalter chooses two words to describe US-Mexico. Great event. Tata Martino uses just one. Classico.
And the United States feel like they have an advantage not only on attacking set pieces, but defending them. If they defend this well, watch out for them on the counter.
Goalkeeper Stefan didn't get clean purchase. Edson Alvarez with the follow-up.
And a big decision from Greg Berhalter to go with Zach Steffen over Matt Turner. And anytime you're in a game of this magnitude, you want to get an early touch. Little nervy moment there from Zach Steffen, but he does well with it.
Here's Weah, who goes alone. He had Aronson as a foil.
Well, the reason why the European scouts are all over Ricardo Pepi is because there's so many raw things about him. Instinctually, he's great in the final third, but he's got great mobility and he can run in the channels. If he can shore up that hold-up play, link up, combine with his wingers, now all of a sudden you've got a complete number 9 going forward. He didn't play him as much because he felt like technically he didn't have the quality at the highest level. And Miles Robinson has grown into a real special center back this summer. Great ball over the top. Now a dangerous set piece for the United States going forward.
Mexico particularly susceptible to US set pieces.
remember, it was the Nations League final this summer in Denver where Weston McKennie put on a show on set pieces here.
He's vying for position here. Delivery was by Aronson. It is a goal kick. It's a bright and energised start. Musa. DeAndre Yedlin, 70th cap. Only player in the US squad to have appeared at a World Cup finals. Pepe. Where? So. Passes with Yedlin. This is Tyler Adams. The wayward pass and the failure of Miles Robinson to cut it out. Raul Jimenez held up importantly by Zimmerman. A moment of carelessness, nearly costly for the United States. Herrera. Turning
Well, a self-inflicting moment here from the United States that originated from a bad ball of Tyler Adams' square pass through the midfield. And this is a difficult one for Zach Steffen through a crowd of players in front of him to pick that out late. That is a save that can give a goalkeeper that is a little rusty some early confidence.
Not seen a lot of game time with Manchester City this season, just 4 appearances. That is his life right now. Understudy to Edison. Corona. Herrera, and out by McKennie. Alvarez, who is a class act. Johan Vasquez, who's making his competitive debut, the player from Genoa in Italy. 2 previous appearances in friendlies. It's quite a baptism in competitive terms. Yedlin with the tackle. Helped by Jesus Corona.
Well, and Yedlin needs to be careful here because he's already on a yellow, so the next yellow he gets, he's out of the next game. And so you want to pick and choose your moments when you're going to get stuck in. And remind Chucky Lozano that you're going to be up his backside all game long.
I'm sure there's a whole lot wrong with that.
Well, I know our Mark Clattenburg is probably looking at that wondering, what was that? But truth is, in these kind of moments, even for the referee, you don't want to give him any kind of inclination of a late challenge.
Not amidst the maelstrom that we have inside this stadium tonight. Overwhelming support for the United States. A few Mexican flags and replica shirts. The noise is American, almost exclusively. Corona. Solidly defended by Yedlin and cleared by Adams. Romo. Chaco Rodriguez. Lozano. Musa to Adams. Musa took a stride, then went over. Referee playing on with the US in possession anyway, and it's Weston McKennie. Musa down the line for Ware. And Mexico getting into quite a few problems trying to play out from the back, constantly giving the ball away.
Especially with the young center back in Vasquez. And I think Timothy Way is doing a wonderful job of forcing him to his right foot because he is left-footed. And so really the only option is to clip it 25 yards into their defensive third, and it's all about winning second balls. But Way doing a very good job of putting that Mexican center back under some real pressure early on in this one.
Remember, an Achilles heel for Mexico set pieces. All 4 goals scored by the US against the Mexicans this year from such opportunities, but those were better delivered than that by Aronson. Rain for much of the 2 hours prior to kick-off, eased off only 10 minutes ahead of the start of the game. It's a nice slick playing surface. Anthony Robinson, Ricardo Pepi. It's Vasquez. Can be taken down.
I think we've seen a different Weston McKennie over the last couple of weeks in Italy with Juventus. He was very forthcoming in his interview in The Athletic, just talking about the suspension and how it took away some of his confidence. But 2 goals in Serie A, then he could have had a wonderful 3rd goal in the Champions League that hit the crossbar. But now we're starting to see the old Weston McKennie that a lot of U.S. soccer fans fell in love with a little bit over a year ago.
Aronson with a bit of depth. Aiming for Zimmerman. Comes out to Pepi. Yedlin. And Ware. And again Timothy Ware. Aronson!
This is still a continuation of set pieces. Tata Martino and his staff all week long are worried about set pieces. And when you defend against the United States, it's not always the first phase. It's often the second phase where they can kill you. Brendan Aronson with a good opportunity there.
This time Mexico more successful in playing out from a deep position. And through the middle goes Lozano. And Lozano is foiled by a very good stop by a hugely exposed Zach Steffen.
You want to see a world-class ball? How about this ball from Alvarez to get Mexico out of pressure? Bypassing the lines, and then it's 1-2 touch, quick passing, played into your 9, and run off of that. An absolute clinic how to play through that pressure. And every single time the United States played Mexico here in the States, your goalkeeper's got to come up with a big save. That is a big one from Zach Steffen here in Cincinnati.
Musa. Lots of encouragement for both teams. They met a mile up in Denver. They confronted each other on the Strip in Vegas. Now here they are in Cincinnati, Ohio. Neither team has beaten the other 3 times in a calendar year since 1937. It is within the compass of the US to bridge that gap tonight. Where? Economical, Tyler Adams. Zimmerman. Yedlin. Musa. Tonight, only this man Yedlin in the US ranks has played a World Cup qualifier against Mexico before. 3 others on the bench may join us later in the game with that experience in the bank. Pulisic had 16 minutes in Malmo in the Champions League, 5 minutes against Burnley in the Premier League last weekend. Was probably hopeful rather than realistic to think he might have started tonight. It's been out a while. Ankle injury sustained on international duty. Lozano. And Stefan able to swoop on it in front of Corona. What do you make of the pace of the game, Taylor?
Exactly what you would expect. At a game at this level, where both teams know exactly what's at stake, but you also look at it, no team has beaten in this rivalry each other 3 times in a calendar year since 1937. And so there is a ton of pressure on Tata Martino in Mexico. But then you also have this conversation about Mexico doesn't respect the United States, and Tata Martino and Greg Berhalter going back. This is exactly what you want with a rivalry. And with all due respect to the 2 trophies that were won this summer, this is the game by which you were judged by.
It was committed by Yedlin. Jimenez by Zimmerman. Jimenez. Musa. Away by Gallardo. I just wonder, Mark Clattenburg's with us, former international referee of great repute and standing. Yedlin, couple of fouls now, couple of free kicks given away. How much leash has he got from the referee, do you think, now?
He hasn't got much now, because his reaction after he gave the foul away was a bit disrespectful to the referee. So, you know what, I wouldn't be surprised if his next foul is given as a yellow card.
Thank you, Mark. Clattenburg, who's got experience with a couple of these Mexican players. He refereed the final of the 2012 London Olympics. And Mexico won the gold against Brazil, and Hector Herrera and Raul Jimenez were both involved in that game. Landmark moment for Mexican football. It's one of those, Hector Herrera. Now of Atletico Madrid. Corona, who's been rather frozen out by Porto since saying he wants to leave. Aronson. Anthony Robinson. Julio Dominguez back to Memo Ochoa, who gets booed by American supporters. This fixture lacks a villain. We've had 5 cycles with Rafa Marquez, and now he spoils it all by retiring. So someone has to fill the void, and Ochoa is probably the most likely candidate. some of his comments, a lack of respect towards the US in the build-up. Luis Rodriguez misjudges it. Anthony Robinson. Robinson does well to at least keep it alive. Miles Robinson. Weston McKennie. Mexican throw. Settling a little into a pattern after a fairly frantic start. To Miles Robinson, who's a little hemmed in. Not to find an escape route. It's Pepe. And Musa impeded. Free kick given, Musa down.
How good is Alvarez? You know, there's Alvarez times that tackle perfectly, wins the ball. It's a throw for the United States, but that's a special player.
I'm sure the referee read that entirely correctly. So he doesn't have the benefit of our selection of replays. Now Dominguez, a little uncertain, helped out by Vasquez, his partner for the first time ever. No Araujo, no Montes, Hector Moreno. Ruled out from the starting 11. He is named on the bench tonight, but effectively the three senior centre-backs are all missing for Mexico. The other end of the pitch, here's Corona. Sorting matters out with Aronson. Read by Vasquez. Tito Corona. ESPN's coverage of US soccer is presented by the all-electric Volkswagen ID.4. And in part by BioSteel, the official hydration partner of US soccer. Scan the QR code to save 30% off at biosteel.com or use code USA30. Hydrate like the men's national team with clean, healthy hydration. Good cover from Adams. Herrera, Lozano, Corona. Robinson leads the tidying mission. Becomes something more ambitious now with Timothy Ware. Sweeping move by the US, yield to corner. And it's taken quickly and short to Aronson.
Almost 30 minutes into the game, John. This is where experience plays a huge factor And when you look at the Mexican roster, 11 players over 30 years old, and yet the United States have 16 players that are 24 or younger. When you look at the players that are on the field now, how do the young players deal with this? You're chasing the game a little bit with Mexico. Can you be a little bit cleaner in possession and take advantage of the few opportunities going forward?
Rather meekly surrendered by Anthony Robinson. It's a free kick to Mexico. Latest score from a game that kicked off an hour before this in San Pedro Sula. Honduras leading Panama by 2-0. Honduras starting the night as bottom of the CONCACAF qualifying group. Panama fourth at kickoff. Zimmerman, poised with his whistle, allows the advantage to unfold with Lozano. In early towards Corona! The bigger chances are coming Mexico's way.
And they're coming Mexico's way because immediately when the ball is turned over from the United States, it's the first ball out of pressure that Mexico has been better than the States in this. But you've got world-class players in the attacking front three from Mexico, and they're all different. Chucky Lozano understanding that Corona's making them run back post. Anthony Robinson coming in late. Corona could have done better with that, but Mexico, as quick as they are going forward, they're also as smart in understanding where the better pass is. That's where they've been really good in the first 31 minutes here.
A smooth ride to this point for either of these sides through qualifying. Mexico may be unbeaten, but they've had a couple of close shaves, benefited from some late goals. Here's Romo. Corona. The United States have played 9 hours of qualification.
You look at the United States, of the 9 goals they have scored, only 1 of those has been in the first half. And I think that's been the most frustrating thing for U.S. soccer fans watching this team, is why has it been so reactive in World Cup qualifying its second half for Greg Berhalter? Yes, you have to give him some credit in the sense that he's made the right changes and changed the complexion of this team. But yet one thing that's been consistent is slow starts.
Must have been going through the mind of the 18-year-old Ricardo Pepi as he came out of the tunnel tonight to face a team that a year or so ago he would have been cheering for rather than even thinking of playing against. Having a word with Jimenez. Tata Martino up against the US for the 8th time in his managerial career. 5 wins, 2 defeats, those 2 games earlier this year. Yedlin. Weah. Awkward loop on that, and it's behind for a corner.
Weah's had himself a real good first half, and a lot of it is where he's picking up his starting position as the United States builds in possession. He's coming into that hole, allowing Yedlin to overlap, and so now there's more options for him either to cut inside or to deliver a ball first time.
Eager supporters craning their necks on the Bailey behind that goal. Aronson takes. Alvarez with the header. Such a positive early impression in his international career. Dispossessed there. Next comes Zimmerman. Pepi. Anthony Robbins. And Ricardo Pepi. Musa to Aronson. Back to Musa. Musa got further than he might have expected when he sent off on that sortie. Slaloming run. Herrera. Corona. And doing the donkey work for Weston McKennie.
You watch Mexico in possession. What's the biggest difference from the United States? They have a reference point. They can play into Jimenez. He can drop into the hold, and the wingers can exploit it. They need a little bit more from Pepi up front.
Yedlin. McKennie. Dropping on Gallardo. There's Aronson. Given up by Lozano to Musa, who goes over almost in slow motion. Play on, says the referee. Adams. It's McKennie. Lucky to get it back. Where? It's not the brightest spark for the US.
Well, and I think this is a good no call from the referee, because Lozano initially had his hands on the shoulders of Musa, but he pulled them off. Musa trying to draw a free kick there. That was a good no call. This is better from the United States here under pressure.
Anthony Robbins. It's Pepi. Here comes Musa!
It's exactly what I'm talking about from Ricardo Pepi up front. We all know about the raw instincts in and around the 18, finishing plays off. But as he evolves as a number 9 up front, understanding that clean first touch, where's your awareness, where's the better pass, lay it off to Musa. If you get a little bit more out of Pepi, then Musa and the United States are going to get a little bit more going forward. Good play from the 18-year-old.
International football action. Martino, who could circumstances circumstances had worked out slightly differently, have been in charge of the United States this evening. So far in the young life of a football stadium that many of us walked into for the first time yesterday and were hugely impressed by. TQL Stadium, the only thing it lacks is any sort of home winning record. 17 games here for FC Cincinnati and just one victory. Certainly stands comparison with any of the new arenas opened by Major League Soccer clubs. Adams weighing it up, still weighing it up. Here's Aronson. Musa now. Weah's flick to Yedlin. Here comes Anthony Robinson. Couldn't get the purchase on the header.
It's just relentless for 90 minutes from Brenden Aaronson. You can't take him off the field right now if you're Greg Berhalter. It's 90 minutes right down your throat at a high intensity, putting you under pressure, keeping this play alive and allowing Anthony Robinson to try to get on the end of it on the back post. That initial combination from Adams and Aaronson, almost pulling it off.
Developments in the game in San Pedro Sula. Honduras were 2 up against Panama, who brought it back to 2-2 with goals in the 77th and 80th minutes. And now Panama have got their noses in front. Panama 4th in the group. They go level on points with the US if they win that. Free kick Mexico. Now by protesting Anthony Robinson on Lozano. Moments for Greg Berhalter with half-time on the horizon. Stefan struggling to make himself heard above the general din of the crowd.
Keep an eye on an in-swinger here.
Corona.
I see, that's wasteful. For me, Gallardo hits that with an in-swinging ball. It's a nightmare for any goalkeeper because then any kind of deflection, it's difficult to react to.
Boos are getting louder for Memo Ochoa. Tangle involving Jimenez and Yedlin. Premier League before Yedlin's move to Turkey. US free kick, this time Adams fouled.
It is, but Tyler Adams has to be extremely careful of trying to thread the needle there because if the referee doesn't blow his whistle, it's 3v1 going the other way. McKennie and Musa just trying to figure the positioning out. Oftentimes they're in the same spaces, and so it's easy for the midfield of Mexico to find those. And so what Adams is trying to help Zimmerman and Miles Robinson get out of pressure, maybe McKennie and Musa can maybe give them a little bit of a better angle, and you can bypass Adams and play through them.
Adams.
Great tackle.
Heard the thud reverberate around the stadium. Here's McKennie. Neatly for Yedlin. Here's Pepe. The time it took for the ball to drop. It's whipped off his toe. Anthony Robinson. Aronson. He goes sprawling. Well, Jimenez. The ball crept up and struck the arm. So if you're scoring this a la boxing, have you got Mexico ahead on points, or how even is your card?
It's eerily similar to the two finals that we saw this summer in Denver and Vegas, isn't it? Where Mexico dictates majority of the game. They've had the better chances, and yet it feels like with a little bit of a better pass or decision in the final third, the United States can find themselves on the counter. But to answer your question, I think Mexico's been the better team in the first half. And Zach Steffen's come up with two good saves.
Just the solitary minute to be tagged on. Robinson not necessarily doing his team a favour by keeping that in. Herrera setting himself for the overhead. And this is Weston McKennie. And we will now see the first appearance of a yellow card in this match for Luis Romo.
Smart from Weston McKennie, understanding here that there was really no option, and so he can feel the presence of Romo, and the Mexican midfield retreat to try to get into a good defensive posture, understanding that sliding across, drawing the yellow from Romo. Also, more importantly, taking the pressure off the back line that was a little sloppy moments before that.
Chances at either end of the pitch, the better one's probably going the visitors' way, but at the midway point it is goalless between the US and Mexico as Greg Berhalter picks up his notepad and his pen, begins to set sail towards the locker room. He will call in with us en route to discuss what we've seen in
Guys are committed. We're looking to get the goal. We came close a number of times. We want to keep pushing.
What's going to be your message to them for the second half?
I think keep going. We could be a little more patient and build up. I think we're passing out of areas where we have numbers too quickly, and then we got to break lines and switch field. It's really important.
Thanks very much, John.
Thank you, Sam. Greg Berhalter a little hoarse at half-time, rather like 25,000 other American supporters inside the splendid TQL Stadium. Mexico have had their moments, the US have had a sniff here and there. We'll get the views of Casey and Jermaine with 7 a moment. Half-time, goalless.
Hey, it's time to hydrate.
Best kept secret in sports. No longer a secret.
Progressive presents At Home with Baker Mayfield.
Really appreciate you stepping into house sit. Everything should be pretty straightforward. Here's the keys. Let me show you inside. So each heater's on its own power grid, so you're just gonna have to throw the breakers each night. Tuesday's trash day. Just pull the dumpsters out the night before. Do you like dogs?
There are dogs?
It's a whole section of them. If you're gonna leave, remember to set the alarm. The code is 6.
Just 6?
Shh.
Each day is a new day for this team, with new goals and new challenges. We are on a journey. We keep our focus on today and the next step on the road ahead.